Just picked up this Exakta SLR off of eBay a little while ago, so I'm just going to make a short video to talk about it and the history of these early single lens reflex cameras. I also have a contemporary of the Exakta. It's a Praktiflex FX. These came out in the early 50s, so they're both on the market around the same time. Praktiflex is fairly normal for a SLR camera of this time. It's got a waist level viewfinder, it's got a focal plane shutter. That's basically about it. It does not have an instant return mirror. It has a rotating shutter speed knob. There's no auto aperture or anything like that. With a waist level viewfinder, you look down into the camera to see what you're looking at. And there's a ground glass in there, and if you need fine focusing, there's a little magnifying lens that pops up. And there is no instant return mirror, and what that means is that when you press the shutter, the viewfinder goes blank. You have to wind the shutter on again to get the image to come back. It was not an automatic thing. The diaphragm in the lens does not stop down automatically. It stays open unless you set it down manually. So you've got to turn it down yourself before taking a photograph, and then once you've taken the photograph, you've got to open it up again so you can focus. So the Praktiflex is a pretty normal SLR for that era, for the 1950s, with its cloth focal plane shutter, waist level viewfinder, and whatnot. The Exakta is pretty unusual. It does not have a focal plane shutter. It normally was sold with a waist level finder, but it had interchangeable finders, and this one has a pentaprism on it. Like the Praktiflex, there's not an instant return mirror on this camera. When you fire the shutter, the mirror stays up. Also, the shutter release is on the left side of the camera body, which was something Exakta did on all of their cameras. You'll see that there's a metal curtain here on the front, and in back you'll see that there is no shutter curtain. So we're going to wind the camera, bring the mirror back down. You can see it drops back down. Shutter's reset. See, there's still no focal plane shutter. There's no cloth or anything back here, just the mirror. I'm going to set it to the B setting so you can see how this works. Basically, the mirror forms the first shutter curtain, as it were. So when we press the button, the mirror is going to come up. You can see that it's open all the way through. When I release the button, a metal curtain is going to rise to the front of the camera instead of across the back. So the Exakta has a rather bizarre shutter, which was done to keep costs down. It was a very cheap SLR back then. It cost $79. The Praktiflex back here cost $90. And the Exakta, which was made by the same company as the Exakta, cost a couple $100, which was equivalent to a few $1,000s back in the early 50s. Another interesting feature is the Exakta has the bayonet mount lens, same as the Exaktas do. And there's a little release lever back here that locks the lens in place.